Well, happy Wednesday, everyone. I want to welcome you to this last Wednesday in February. I mean, where has the month gone? Well, I can tell you for me, unfortunately, I've spent a great part of it with this cold bug that's been going on, but I'm feeling so much better, even if I may still sound a little nasally and I may cough just a little bit. But it is so good to be back and to be feeling better. So, as you are joining in, let me know where you're joining us from. Would love to read your comments on that and just leave me a comment. Guys, if you are catching this on the replay, be sure to use hashtag replay so I know that. And I just will say, too, a little housekeeping is if you are watching us on Facebook, will you please give Facebook and StreamYard permission to speak to each other? And then that way it won't say Facebook user when you leave a comment. And it looks like we're all connected. Let me see if I can do a little bit here and make sure that I'm on Facebook. I forgot to connect to these two things. Okay. While that is doing its thing, let me see. I apologize for the delay here. I just dropped the ball and did not get these things up and running. So that looks like we are running here on LinkedIn. Good to go. Okay, I see that. And let me just see if I can make sure that we truly are streaming on over here on Facebook. So what I've noticed is in my streaming service, I don't always see your comments. So sometimes it's helpful for me to go back and forth. So if you're watching me, make sure to say hello in the comments. And that way I will be checking them as we go. So little introductions. If I'm new to you and you are new to me, you tell me a little bit about you in the comments. My name is Beverly Smith, and I am, going to first hide that. I am the founder of Career Success Strategies, and I'm also the former owner of a staffing and recruiting firm. So I tell you that to tell you I know firsthand what hiring managers are looking for, and I'm using that knowledge to empower high-performing individuals, sales, business development, as well as senior and executive level professionals to achieve their career goals. Now, over at Career Success Strategies, what we do is we help y'all with your resumes. We craft resumes, cover letters. We help you with your LinkedIn profiles and your LinkedIn branding, as well as coach you on how to find hidden jobs, how to interview, how to negotiate your salary. So just a little bit of background about what I do, what my team and I do over at Career Success Strategies. Now, last time we talked was at the beginning of the month, and I had a special guest on named Tamara Bunty. And Tamara is a sales coach, and it was such a great conversation. We actually talked about how to sell yourself so that you can stand out, so that you can get noticed, and you can land more opportunities without feeling like salesy or egotistical or anything like that. And so if you missed that episode, you can go back to my YouTube channel, which is I've got linked right here at Beverly Smith Resumes. Make sure you click on the live tab, and all of my replays are right there on the live tab. So do that, and you can catch that episode, as well as everything else that I have done will be right there as well. So I got a little notification from Facebook that they're not going to be storing all my past videos that I've done. So YouTube, or going over to LinkedIn and clicking on the events. If you go to my LinkedIn profile and click on my events, they're all there as well. And so I'll let you know that you can find those there. All right. So let's jump in and talk about what we're going to be talking about today. It today is all about cover letters, and I specifically want to really talk about why I believe that they're so important. Cover letters sometimes get a bad rap. They lead to a lot of confusion. People don't think they need them. I am going to tell you, I believe they can change the trajectory of your career. And here's why I know that, because it personally happened to me. So years ago, before we got into the staffing and recruiting industry, I was working for a company, and as a trailing spouse, my husband had the main job and we got transferred a lot. And so a lot of times I would go to work for companies and just take what I could take. Even though I had a degree, we weren't really focusing as much on my career. So I had taken a job within the accounts payable department with this particular company, and they had a role that came open in their compliance department. And I saw this as a major step up for my career. I was like, this could really open doors for me down the road. So I wanted to apply for this position. And when I did, I chose to submit a cover letter. Now, here's the deal. There were 3 other candidates that were selected to interview, all internally, like myself. And honestly, I went into it not feeling real confident because I was the youngest candidate. I had the least tenure with the company and least experience. But like I said, I submitted a cover letter. And what I did in that cover letter, y'all, was to explain how my skills and how my experience in the accounts payable department would transfer over into the compliance department, and how the fact that I was already very familiar with our vendors and had relationships established, and really was able to take and look at the job description and look at department specific benefits. So the hiring manager read my cover letter and was very intrigued immediately. And I later found out that I was the only one who actually wrote a cover letter that explained why I was a fit for the position. I think the rest of them may have just said, here's my resume kind of cover letter. So now here's what I want to do. I want to talk about, there's a lot of myths. Like I said, earlier, some people don't think that they're necessary. And I will hear from people, oh, nobody reads them. Well, I'm going to tell you, as a recruiter, if you submitted a cover letter, that was one of the first things I read. And here's why. It's an opportunity to evaluate your soft skills, your passions, cultural fit. The deal is, a lot of people, like myself, at the time when I wrote that cover letter, I did not know that much about resumes. And I did not really write a very compelling resume. And that's what I've found as a recruiter is most people, unless they have outside help with their resumes, resumes don't tend to do you justice. So as a recruiter, being able to read your cover letter and to see that how, like what I did, how you might be a fit, it can give you some additional insights. And so it can maybe help balance a resume that's maybe not real strong, to making me being willing to take a second look and see why you might be a good fit for the position that I'm hiring for. So, reasons that you might really specifically want to use a cover letter. In other words, reasons that I think are crucial for a cover letter is, number one, if you're pivoting in your career. this is going to be very helpful because kind of like I did with just going from one department to another within the company, what you're doing is you are showcasing why your skills can transition. And let's face it, for those of you who are thinking about transitioning into a different field, your skills will transfer. Using a cover letter can sometimes help you dig deeper and better showcase how those skills will help you stand out and be, or not just stand out, but be a fit for that particular company. So, definitely, if you're pivoting, like I did, a second reason would be applying for internal roles. So you may be like doing what I did and going from one department to a next. Show how what you're doing in this department is a fit over there for that particular position. And I'm going to tell you, companies love to fill positions internally when they can. In fact, that's where they're going to start first, is they're going to look at, hey, who's already working here? Because the onboarding is easier. The getting you up to speed for that role is easier than bringing someone in from the outside. And so this can definitely help the hiring manager lean towards picking you when you use the cover letter for an internal position. And then a third reason to consider using a cover letter is unique situations or gaps that may of employment. And we'll talk a little bit more about this a little bit further down, but this may be a time to use a cover letter and to explain what your situation is more specifically to keep from being ruled out. So we may see a big gap in your resume and be a little concerned. And it may be that you were just going back to school, and you can explain that in a more detailed situation, or in a more detail in your cover letter. So I want to talk about what makes a cover letter stand out. So there's 3 key elements of a really strong cover letter. First off is a hook. And that's where you're going to open up with a compelling reason for your interest in the role in the company. So let's just say you are a career transitioner, or you're going to pivot into a different type of role. Something that you might say is like, for the past 8 years, I built a successful career in marketing, crafting compelling brand stories, and engaging audience. Now I'm eager to bring that same storytelling experience to the world of HR, where connecting with people is just as critical. My ability to understand audience behavior, analyze trends, communicate effectively make me a strong candidate for this transition into talent acquisition. And so what you're doing is you're framing and highlighting your transferable skills, and you're demonstrating with confidence why you are a good fit for this transition. So, another compelling headline or a paragraph might be, I first learned about ABC Company's mission to revolutionize the XYZ industry. I knew I had to be a part of it. With a decade of experience in the XYZ field, I've led projects that have increased efficiency by 30%. I've improved customer retention. I've streamlined operations. I'm excited about the opportunity to bring my expertise to your team. And so these, like I said, are very compelling introductory paragraphs that really will pique the interest of the recruiter to let them know why it is you're applying for their position. So the second part is that value proposition. So you want to show, again, how your skills, your experience, your perspective align with the company's goals. And here you could actually come in and give some key highlights in your career and maybe show how you've saved a company money, or show how your experience aligns with this company's problems that they're trying to solve and their goals. So, and then finally, you want to end your cover letter with a call to an action. And that is going to be, to me, it seems obvious, but inviting the person reading the cover letter for a further discussion with an interview. But you'd be surprised how many people don't do it. So, I mean, and that to me is the main purpose. You're submitting your resume and your cover letter in order to get the interview. So use that precious real estate in the cover letter to actually ask for the interview. So, when you are writing your cover letter, you want to make sure too that you are personalizing that letter, and you are wanting to personalize it to the person that's going to be reading it. Maybe, it's the department manager or the hiring manager. Maybe it's the CEO of the company. And so you want to really do your research and make sure that you're using that person's name. And again, you really want to emphasize your transferable skills into this specific role. Common mistakes to avoid in a cover letter are repeating your resume verbatim. I mean, that just doesn't make sense. We've already got it. You might pull out a key highlight or two, but it doesn't have to be verbatim what is in your resume. Also, too, there's a lot of generic templates online that you can use, and using these without personalizing it is going to be a really big pitfall. Same thing with if you're using AI to craft your a cover letter, be careful. Don't just take what it gives you, but take it and use it as inspiration to further personalize it, to make it sound like you, and to really make sure that it's not overly generic, but it's more personalized and showcases your key strengths and how you are aligning with the position. Also, another mistake to avoid, and I said we would talk about this further, is over explaining gaps or weaknesses. So you don't want to go into a big monologue on these things. You want to turn that around. So a gap might be perceived as a weakness, but not if you've spent a year taking a gap in your career to go back to school, and maybe to really what might have taken you 2 years to complete, had you had to do it alongside work, you've been able to complete that master's degree, putting your head down and focusing on it in a 1-year period. And so, showcasing how that's going to be of value to the employer is much better than over explaining it as a gap. So just real quick, I'm going to check to see if we've got any comments here. I'm not seeing anything. So, okay, very good. No comments right now, but we will just continue on. So really, in order to craft a good cover letter, make sure that you research the company and the hiring manager. We kind of already talked about that, but know who they are, know what direction they're going, use all your resources. If you have connections within the company, find out as much about the company as you can. Address it specifically to the hiring manager or to the recruiter directly whenever possible. You want that customized, because that's going to really show that you are interested and you've done your homework. And you'd be surprised the people that won't do it. It may seem blatantly obvious to you, but there are people that will not do it. They'll do the minimum to get by. And quite honestly, if I'm hiring for a position, I want to see someone that's willing to go those extra steps to learn about the company. Also, focus on not just your accomplishments, which are good, but the solutions that you bring. So make sure that you, again, show that alignment in those solutions, how you can solve problems for this company. All right. Some practical tips for today's job market. Keep it concise. Doesn't need to be more than 3 or 4 paragraphs. Okay. Use keywords from the job description. Okay. Want to make sure, study that job description and see what you can plug into, because if I'm reading your cover letter first and you're already clicking or checking those boxes and pulling out things specifically that I'm using from my job description, that's going to make me want to take this the step further and to read your resume. And then finally, close with confidence and gratitude. So be confident. Make sure your tone exudes your confidence without being egotistical. And also, you can do that just by expressing gratitude for their time in reading it and your desire to take this further and ask for an interview. So make sure to include that call to action there as well. So let's see. Key takeaways. Cover letters are still very much relevant. Recruiters are using them. They like them. Yes, there are going to be some people that are not going to read them. There are going to be some jobs that if you do not include that cover letter, they're not going to read your resume. So make sure when you're reading a job, if you've been told about a job position or you're reading a job description and it says to include a cover letter, absolutely 100%, you're going to want to. Here's the deal. I would much rather have them throw away my cover letter and never read it than I would have them never read my resume and never give me an opportunity because I didn't go the extra mile and compose a compelling cover letter that they've asked for or that is going to set me apart. And so the other thing, while we're on that, the other thing I want you to take away is you want to tailor your cover letter to the job that you're applying for, and don't make it generic. So here's the thing. In my business, we do create cover letters for our clients, but when we do, they're customizable. And we do this very specifically because we have so much experience. My team and I are both have been in the recruiting space. And because of that experience, we know what recruiters are looking for. We will pull out elements from our intake interview with you to help you customize your cover letter. And we'll tell you what we think you need to say, but we expect you to take that job description or what you've been told about the job and really tweak it to that particular position. And so we will craft this customizable letter. And what I love about it is it keeps you, the job seeker, from having writer's block with your um, with your cover letter, and you can immediately go and say and take the ideas that we've expressed, maybe tweak it a little bit, maybe change some keywords so that it is a fit for this position that you're applying for, and be able to get it sent out and sent out right away. And you're not wondering what it is you need to say. So, if you're feeling like you want to know more about how to include a cover letter, maybe you want assistance with your own resume, then we should probably talk. And I do offer a complimentary consultation. The people I tend to work with are high performing sales, business development, as well as senior level professionals. And so here I'm going to put in a link so you can, and let me also too, I think I can put it, a banner. There it is. Whoops. Okay. There you go. You can link to that consultation here in the chat, or just get on my calendar and we'll do a complimentary consultation with you. So I hope, guys, you found this helpful. And Joe, I hope I'm saying this correctly. Thank you for your compliments. I appreciate you being here and attending. And yes, I do. Thank you so much. And I hope I'm not butchering your name, Joe. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. Guys, I again, thank you for attending this. If you're catching this on the replay, use hashtag replay. I have moved these live streams from weekly to twice a month. So I will be back the second week in February. So not next Wednesday, March. So not next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. Say a prayer for me next week. I'm going to be having a little oral surgery. So I appreciate your thoughts and prayers on that. And I'm looking forward to being back with you next in 2 weeks. And with that, I wish you all a wonderful day.